All right, everybody. Hello, welcome. And I'm with the fabulous Jackie Kane, Jackie Kane, Jackie Kane. If you stay to the end, I'll tell you why I call her the real JFK. So, Jackie, remind me to share that with our viewers today. This is session number 2 for our Mystic Badass Resistance Breakthrough 7-day challenge. And today, Joy Rapture, we're working on the voice of the judge, Judgment. So I'm going to do a short little presentation. I took more time yesterday to sort of acclimate everybody. I'm going to do a little bit, tease out a few of the details of this body of work, and then we're going to dive right into sensing and feeling and tapping and transforming judgment. So let's go. So here we are, session number 2. And I'm Alan Davidson, the founder of Evolutionary Mystic Meditation. What we're experiencing in our Resistance Breakthrough 7-day challenge is really like the light, simplest version of this work. And all of us here on this call are spiritual seekers. And the first stage of the mystic's evolutionary journey I call being a spiritual badass. And it really is taking your spiritual values and aligning them and harmonizing all the different parts of yourself and being able to really show up with, your healthiest, happiest human ready to do your work in the world. And then continuing on that mystic's evolutionary journey through the 5 stages and being a mystic badass. So first, I would like to hear from everybody. If you enter into the comments in the chat, where are you watching and listening from today in the world? I'm Alan, and I am in the shadow of Houston, Texas. It's a very soggy day here today. And Jackie, where are you in the world?
I'm in New Hartford, Connecticut, so the northwest corner of Connecticut. It's a little chilly and crisp and sunny here today.
Awesome. And Jenna says, fabulous. Hello, Kristen Arnold, my darling Kristen. Kelly O'Toole Howe. And Nancy. Kristen's also in Massachusetts, not far from where I lives in Clinton. Yeah. So.
Wow. Yeah.
All right. So great, everybody. Welcome. Okay. So going back to, so how many badass mystics do we have in the house today? All right. Georgia is here from Halifax, Canada, and Kelly is from Columbia, Missouri, and Ty is with us from soggy Houston. All right, everybody. So how many of you are badass mystics or badass mystics in the making? So I did a DNA test and found out I'm 100% badass mystic. So I know that shocks every one of you, doesn't it? Oh. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to review a couple of simple things. Our 7-day challenge is just to meditate, to commit to meditate for 20 minutes or more twice a day for 7 days. You can use any kind of meditation that you like or you love or you're curious about. It doesn't matter. There's something about committing to doing the meditation and then begin to notice the resistance to doing it. And not only doing it, but doing it joyfully, with ease and pleasure, rather than, oh, I need to, I've got to, I committed to. So we want to trigger resistance to your commitment. And as the old saying goes, how you do anything is how you do everything. So, we're committing to meditate twice a day, but this resistance really shows up in many areas of our life when we make commitments and goals that will evolve our soul. So there are 3 essential skills in being a spiritual badass: recentering into your power, resetting to your higher self, and recharging your vital energies. And I sort of laid the groundwork yesterday. So we're going to recenter into your power in a few minutes when we begin our meditation and our work today. And then recharging your vital energies, that sense that we have sort of 5 layers of energy or frequency, from the densest of our bones and our muscles and our connective tissue, and then moving all the way to the spiritual realm, the subtlest, lightest, and there's this whole spectrum of energy. But the important thing to know is that each of our of these 5 domains has its own unique flavor and quality. So we need to rest and restore our physical energy. We need to rest and restore our emotional energy when these get depleted. Our mental energy, our moral energy, that's really about discernment and making your choices in alignment with your highest values. And are those choices conscious or unconscious? And then our spiritual energies. And if one of these is depleted and you're running a deficit, then it affects your ability to function in the world, but certainly affects your ability to evolve and to heal and to grow. And so I talk a lot about what are the rituals that we use to rest and restore our vital energies. And by ritual, I mean a repeated set of intentional, carefully chosen actions that invoke a specific result. Now, in the spiritual world, we talk a lot about rituals, but we don't always understand that the intention and then the specific result are wrapped up in a ritual. And I want to give you an example from world-class tennis. When psychologists were really studying performance, one of the things that they noticed is that the top performers in the world always had short little micro rituals that they would do when they were on the court. And it would be, some of those rituals could be 30 seconds, some of them could be 60 seconds. But it was in that little tiny ritual, like bouncing the ball 3 times and then scooping it up and getting ready to hit it with the racket. But when they really photographed or videotaped, they noticed that not only were they bouncing the ball 3 times, they were synchronizing their breath with the bounce. So it was a little ritual that the world-class tennis player could go through to recenter and reset his or herself so that they were ready for the next serve. And so that's just an example of a ritual that you can do. Now, meditation is a ritual that we do to focus and sustain our attention, our intention, and ideally our no tension. So meditation is a ritual for focusing and sustaining our attention. So I'm going to ask Jackie in a moment here, what are some of the regular rituals that you use in your life to rest and restore your different energies? And so, Jackie?
Well, I use tapping a lot. I use also getting in touch with the voices. I try to stay on top of my energy levels and my which voice and energy I'm in every day. And then I get into that conversation. And then, of course, getting outside and grounding myself as often as I can.
Well, and you live in a beautiful part of the world. One of my favorite memories, I was with you last winter, and I'm wandering around, the hills of Connecticut, and it's freezing outside, and I'm in my, shorts and sweatshirt and gloves and cap and, looking like this crazy Texan, wandering around in the snow, having a fabulous time. So, but, what are some of the rituals you use on a regular basis to rest and restore your vital energies? Okay, so now resetting to your higher self, and it really is what Jackie was just saying. It's like getting a sense of all the different parts that live within us. And some people use the analogy of an orchestra or a chorus or a company or a boardroom. I like the boarding house in the sense that we have this whole cast of characters and sub-personalities that live within us. And I break them down into at the penthouse level, the soul team, and the second story is our success team. The ground floor is the parts of us that just help us function in the day. And the basement are the parts of us that are dedicated to safety and protection and defense. And so resistance is that part of us that is in charge of all the voices that are dedicated and committed to protecting us and keeping us safe. And so resistance is the team of selves, their habits, attitudes, and reflexive responses that control and manage your fears, get your needs met, and protect you by keeping you out of harm's way. And so I think of resistance as the 5-star general. And there are a number of first lieutenants. Yesterday we talked to procrastination. And today we're talking to judgment, and we're going to focus on that part of us that judges. And particularly when we don't meet our goals and commitments, can judge us, and sometimes very harshly. And certainly that part of us that judges other people. And judgment is a left brain cognitive psychological phenomena of a person forming opinions of self and of other people. So how many of you are aware that you have a judge, and that judgment is a regular function of your life? And I'm going to be the first. I'm going to say I have a judge. I have quite a judge. There, I'm in. So thank you, Kelly. Pick me. All right. So we're going to work with that part of us that judges. Now, what I want to say is that all of these voices in the basement, we need them, we want to celebrate them, and we want them to support us, not only in keeping us safe, but helping us to grow and to thrive. Nancy Snyder, I have a Supreme Court judge. Yes, ma'am. Excellent. I'm with you, sister. And like our belated RBG with some fabulous decorative collars, while he or she is in session. So what I want to say about all these voices in the basement is that they are important, and this body of work is not about killing or exiling or locking those parts of us, even though some of these parts, the judge, the inner critic particularly, can be brutal if they're allowed to run amok. But what we want to do with this work is to work with them skillfully so that they can relax and release some of the emotion and the energy that they're holding, and allow new possibilities to happen. And maybe in that process learn some new skills, because we learn that all the voices in the basement, resistance itself, the first lieutenants, all the defensive voices, the disowned voices, with time and skill and presence and boundaries, they can all heal and grow and mature. And so at some point, judge transforms into discernment. all these voices can mature and evolve, but we first have to meet them where they are with presence and compassion. And so that's what we're beginning to do is with this resistance challenge is just start to meet them and work with them and allow them to release some of the energy that they're holding. Yeah. Great. Okay. All right. So that said, we're about to move into our work here. For our time today, we're going to do some inner parts work, specifically resistance and judgment. And then we're going to use tapping or emotional freedom technique to work with them. So I'm going to start, and Jackie's going to be my partner. She's going to be your collective voice, but you have this experience with us. So I'm going to ask her some very specific questions, and I want you to see how you respond and react in your own body, looking towards physical sensations. And that can be a tightness, a heaviness, a heat, or a cool. Somebody just said it was 60-something degrees in their house this morning. Brag, brag, brag. Still hot and humid in Texas. That can be butterflies. It can be movement on the skin. Sometimes resistance can show up as thoughts or stories chattering in your mind. It can be different emotions. And it can even feel like something outside of your body, like something's pressing you or holding you back or tying you down. So, we don't want any sense that you have can be a way that resistance shows up in your awareness, and we're going to work with all those. So that said, Jackie Kane, are you ready to dive in, sister?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I know that's right, honey. Okay. I love it. It just says Facebook user to me. I'm wondering if that's you, Susan Troy, but life can totally change with discernment versus judgment. And it's the same skill, but discernment comes from a compassionate place and a wiser place than just judgment. So what I'm going to do is we're going to shift in a minute. We're going to do a little meditation of sensing and centering and moving into our recentering our power. And then we're going to start to work skillfully with judgment. So everybody ready? Okay. So I want you to rub your hands together and start to just sense your body. We have 5 senses, obviously tasting and smelling and seeing and hearing. But for meditation, we primarily use the sense of touch in the body, and there are 4 qualities or 4 sensations of touch. Okay. Oh, the Facebook user is Denise from Derry. All right, girl. Okay. So the sensation of movement, the friction of the hands against each other. There's pressure. Use very, very light pressure, or you can use more firm pressure. And then there's temperature. So sensing the warmth of your palms, and then maybe the coolness on the backside of your fingers. So movement, pressure, temperature, and the 4th sensation of touch is pain, discomfort in the body. So now I want you to take those palms and put your thumbs together and put them into your navel and let your palms come to rest there on just underneath your belly button. And in Japan, that's called your hara. In China, it's called your dantian. In the yogic tradition, it's your 2nd chakra. But it is your center, your physical center of your body between the top of your head and the heels touching the ground. It is your energetic center. It is your gravitational center. And if you've noticed, if you've ever seen any of those fabulous martial arts movies like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, or The Matrix, all of that spectacular movement all comes from the hara or the dantian. So this is your seat of power, particularly physical power. So I'm going to show you a real quick Aikido centering exercise. So just leaning to one side and just sensing your body, maybe that stretching of the ribs and the side. And now come back to center. And now leaning to the other side. And again, sensing the ribs as they yawn and open up a little bit. And come back to center. So that's centering side to side. And now leaning forward and sensing the muscles of your back just tightening or contracting a little bit to keep you from falling forward. And then recentering. And now leaning backwards and sensing the muscles of your abdomen, your belly, just stretching a little bit to keep you from falling backwards. And now recenter front and back. And then we're going to recenter from top to bottom, clenching the muscles around your bones of your feet and your ankles and your shin and your thigh, your pelvic bowl, the diaphragm, the ribs, the arms, the wrists, the soft fist, the throat, the jaws, the eyes, even your scalp, just tightening, clenching everything, sensing yourself off center. And when you're ready, just dropping, and bring your palms back to the hara and coming back to center. And just, this is the place of center. This is recentering in your power. And if you ever get to work with martial artists that particularly focus on recentering, all martial arts are built around the center, but there's a unique set of teachers who focus on centering as a lifestyle. And you find that particularly in Tai Chi and Aikido particularly. Okay, great. All right. So just what do you sense and what do you notice from this place of center? And for those of you enter into the chat, and Jackie, I'm just going to say to you, what do you sense?
Definite grounding and centering, more in my body, more present. It's such a common fact to be busy and leave our body. It's a constant work on getting in the body and being present.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. So yeah, and from, I sense I've had a full morning already, and just centering, it's like just really sensing more spaciousness, more stillness, more presence. So yeah. Deeper breath. Denise says deeper breath, slower mind, calmer, more stable in the feet. Yeah, fantastic. All right. So from this place of center, let me ask, how did you do with the committing to meditate for 20 minutes or more twice yesterday?
Are you asking me or everybody?
Well, yes, you and everybody.
I didn't know that we were doing it. I wasn't able to watch. I had a busy day yesterday, so I wasn't able to do yesterday's.
Okay. All right. Great.
But now that I know, I am going to do it. Yes.
Great. Well, I know that you're a long time meditator. So we both have studied yogic meditation with yogic teachers for many years. So,
yeah.
Okay. Well, so are there other rituals that you feel like the self could be doing that maybe she's not doing?
I could definitely do the meditation more. I've started some yoga, but I could definitely do more because that's another thing that gets me in my body and gets me centered.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and moving my body. Sometimes I'm too stagnant and sitting behind the computer and working and thinking. Um, Definitely moving and walking.
Yeah. So, what I heard was, could definitely be doing more. And and that's great. So, and several people like Kelly I did good yesterday and got a new meditation spot set up. I start strong and piddle out after a few days. Perfect, because it's the resistance,
Yeah.
consistency that we want to focus on. So, great. So, and again, it's just, this is the goal, this is the intention, and what is the resistance that keeps us from, I have a confession, we like BritBox and all those English murder mysteries, that they do. So, gee, I had time for a couple of hours of English murder mysteries yesterday, but if I hadn't committed to myself and to you guys that I would meditate a second time, I might have just sashayed right on to bed. But at midnight last night, I was doing my second meditation. But I could feel that resistance, like, oh, you're so tired, and it's like, yeah. So what I want to now ask, can you feel in your body or in your being that part of you that judges you for the things that you could be doing but don't do them as often or regularly as you should? And this is for everybody. Tuning into your body. Can you find that part of you that judges you for maybe not meditating yesterday or other rituals that you could be doing to help the soul evolve, to help the self move to greater levels of happiness and health? And where do you sense that judge or judging part in the body?
I judge it. It's a little judge. She's behind my right side.
So when you say behind the right side, is it sort of like a little posterior behind the
Yes.
rib cage?
Yeah.
Okay, great. And does that part of you, does it radiate? Yeah. Does it radiate out to other parts of the body?
Yeah, it's almost actually like she's outside of my body behind me. And she's pulling me, holding me back, I guess.
So the judge is sort of, you can sense it in the body, in the ribs, but also sort of outside the body, behind the sort of pulling or holding you back.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ty says very easy to find that part. Kelly says definitely judge myself. Georgia says mine is in the upper chest. I think it's Denise. Judgment is in the brain and the head. Kelly is like, a tight heart center and left side along the spine. Perfect. So you just really be aware of the sensations, and it's a big hammer, not even a gavel. Mean face, scowling, looking down at me. Yeah, got it. And Willa saying, yeah, he wags her finger at me.
Right.
Right. Yeah. And this is great. Ty is saying, yeah, my judge is sometimes the only thing that makes me move or do through guilt and negativity. But we're going to work with that. We're going to see if we can transform that guilt and negativity into an excitement or enthusiasm. Is part of what we want to do today. So let me ask, great noticing, sensing the body. Is there a particular emotion that you notice with this part of you that judges?
Anger.
Okay. Say more about that.
Anger that other people get to do things and she doesn't. And we don't. That it's easy for other people.
Yeah.
And it's, yeah,
So it's easier to do for other people than it is to do for the self.
yes. And also, it's easier for other people to do the things to reach their goals, but not us.
Ah, okay. Okay, great. We're going to come back to that. So let's do some tapping. So I know there are people here that are watching that are very sophisticated with tapping, and if you have points that you love, by all means use them. If you want the short form, great. By all means. For I'm going to just use the heel of the hand because I know there are some people who are brand new to tapping, some are brand new to meditating. So, okay, great. I hope I don't mispronounce your name. Maite says overwhelm. Denise, shame mostly. Kelly says frustration and sadness. Ties like a sense of failure, shame, victimization. Fantastic. So again, noticing the sensation in the body and noticing the emotion. And so on a scale of 0 to 10, 0 being completely at peace and at ease, and 10 being just, the incredible pain and intense emotionally, how would you rate this part of you that judges you right now?
My number's an 8.
A number an 8. Okay, great, great. Okay, great. Maite, beautiful. All right. Great. So I will teach the short form maybe later in the week, but for today, let's just keep it real simple. I'll send you a link so that you can see how I work with the different short form. But if you just hit the heel of the hand, if you just tap this way, or you can do it this way, you will have amazing release just doing that. But Jackie, you know the point, so feel free. You can model the short form if you want.
Okay, sure.
All right. And everyone just take a breath, coming back to center, just centering side to side, front and back, up and down, and tapping. And Jackie's going to be your voice, our voice and partner. But if you can, say it out loud as you tap with me. I realize
that
there is a part of me that judges me. It's been judging me a long time. Sometimes harshly. Wagging that finger. Punishing me. Making me feel guilty. All the things I should be doing.
All the things I should be doing.
All the things I could be doing.
All the things I could be doing.
What a slacker.
What a slacker.
Self is such a slacker.
The self is such a slacker.
There's part of me that judges.
There's part of me that judges.
I also realize that the judge wants to keep me safe. The judge says to me what I'm afraid other people will say to me. So I judge myself before other people do it. They're probably thinking it anyway. I'm just going to judge myself. It's the easy way to stay out of harm's way. I realize that I have a very powerful judge. That thinking part of my brain has run amok. It's an important part of my brain. And it judges me. I also realize that it's only one part of me. And it's in a tug of war. With the parts of me that want to succeed. That want to thrive. That want the soul to evolve.
that want the soul to evolve.
I have both of those parts,
I have both of those parts,
and they're both important.
and they're both important.
And I am in the center,
And I am in the center,
feeling that tug of war,
feeling that tug of war.
my old friend Judgment,
My whole friend Judgment,
and the part of me that wants to be free.
and the part of me that wants to be free.
And I'm willing to sit in the center
And I'm willing to sit in the center
and listen to what both have to say,
and listen to what both have to say.
because I know the judge wants to keep me safe.
Because I know the judge wants to keep me safe.
And it's fighting the only way she knows how.
And it's fighting the only way she knows how.
I realize the fact.
I realize the fact.
I have a judge.
I have a judge.
And I recognize the fact
And I recognize the fact
that there's only one part of me.
that it's only one part of me.
Even if it's dominated a lot of my experience.
Even if it's dominated a lot of my experience.
But when I'm in the center,
But when I'm in the center,
I get to choose.
I get to choose.
I have more choice.
I have more choice.
That's why I like being centered.
That's why I like being centered.
I can listen to the judge.
I can listen to the judge.
I can listen to the voices that want to thrive.
I can listen to the voice that wants to thrive.
And even those that want to evolve spiritually.
And even those that want to evolve spiritually.
Who wants to taste freedom.
Who wants to taste freedom.
Wake up to stillness.
Wake up to stillness.
Wake up to infinite love.
Wake up to infinite love.
Everybody take a breath, shake that out, and just sitting back. Sitting straight and sitting still. If you have some water, you might want to have a little sip. And just from this place of center, just what do you notice? What do you sense? And what was that? What do you notice? What do you sense?
How heavy my body feels.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Say more about that heaviness.
The tightness in certain areas.
Okay. And anything else you sense or notice? And for those of you watching, enter into the chat, into the comments. What do you sense and notice?
Also noticing it's like there's more movement up along my spine and it feels easier to move.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Less tightness along the spine.
Uh-huh. Okay, great. And actually, it looks like you're actually sitting, pardon the pun, straighter.
Mm-hmm.
Always good for heterosexual, I guess. Okay. So, and for everyone listening, tuning into where you sense that judge in your body earlier. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so, again, what's that sensation of where the judge is in the body? And maybe that emotion that you sensed with the judge earlier.
I think is really happy to be acknowledged that
Mm-hmm.
somebody's acknowledging her.
Well, let's face it, honey, she has been judging a long time. She has been working overtime for you.
That's right.
Yeah. All right. So let's see. Maite says more calm. Georgia says lots of energy flowing out of my chest, still yawning and yawning, but I'm feeling more solid and less threatened. Abuela says my judge genuinely believes it wants me to thrive and succeed. And that's an important distinction. The judge thinks it's helping you to thrive and succeed when sometimes, shall we say, the delivery or the results are not as intended. And that's part of what we can work on today. Someone said they went from the head to throat. Denise says what resonated was that preemptive strike against the self to prevent others' energy from coming at the sensitive self. Kelly says full body tingles now and much more open in the heart. Fantastic. Yeah. I think it's Denise saying many adults struggle with writing from their authentic self, their unique voice. Perhaps you're one of them. And I mean, part of my work is to help people to wake up to their true self. And so many spiritual seekers want to be their authentic true self and still struggle with it because of resistance. So, all right. So everyone, let's do another round of tapping. Thank you. Everyone take a breath and just take a moment, come back to center, come out of the head, centering side to side, front to back, centering up and down. You can even just rest your palms there on the belly. And even in martial arts demonstrations, if you just bring your two fingers and put them on your hara and just have your intention of just centering into your belly, that will activate this centering mechanism in your being. All right, and tap with me. I recognize the fact.
I recognize the fact
that I have a judge.
That I have a judge.
That's working so diligently.
That's working so diligently.
To keep me safe.
To keep me safe.
Working overtime.
Working overtime.
Judging overtime.
Judging overtime.
My judge sits on the high court.
My judge sits on the high court.
Maybe even the Supreme Court.
Maybe even the Supreme Court.
It sure feels like the high and mighty court.
It sure feels like the high and mighty court.
Judging me all the time.
Judging me all the time.
And other people too.
And other people too.
Sometimes just as harshly.
Sometimes just as harshly.
But it seems like I get the heavy end of the stick.
But it seems that I get the heavy end of the stick.
All those judgments.
All those judgments.
All the things I should do.
All the things I should do.
All the things I shouldn't do.
All the things I shouldn't do.
That's my judge.
That's my judge.
And I also accept the fact.
And I also accept the fact.
There are a lot of other parts of me.
There are other parts of me.
I've been around a long time.
I've been around for a long time.
I've learned some things.
I've learned some things.
The self has learned how to take care of herself.
The self has learned how to take care of herself.
In some more wise and mature ways.
In some much more wise and mature ways.
And doesn't always need to be so harshly judged.
It doesn't always need to be so harshly judged.
Try a little gentleness.
Try a little gentleness.
A little kindness.
A little kindness.
A little self-compassion.
A little self-compassion.
To balance the judge.
To balance the judge.
I'm willing for my judge to grow.
I'm willing for my judge to grow.
To mature.
To mature.
To learn some new skills.
Learn some new skills.
Because thinking.
And
judging.
And judging.
And discerning.
And discerning.
Are very important.
Are very important.
I need my judge.
I need my judge.
It's an important part of living.
It's an important part of living.
And I want her to help me judge.
And I want her to help me judge.
And to discern.
And to discern.
And to discover what's right for me.
And to discover what's right for me.
That's the judge that I want to help me.
That's the judge that I want to help me.
And I want to help her
And I want to help her
judge better.
judge better.
And I recognize the fact
And I recognize the fact
there are a lot of other parts of me
there are a lot of other parts of me
that can help my judge to do that.
that can help my judge to do that.
And instead of pushing me through negativity and guilt,
And instead of pushing me through negativity and guilt,
through shame and judgment,
through shame and judgment,
that there's actually a part of my soul
that there's actually a part of my soul
that pulls me forward,
that pulls me forward,
that helps me desire
that helps me desire
the things that satisfy my soul,
the things that satisfy my soul,
and the rituals
and the rituals
that help me embody my soul's purpose
that help me embody my soul's purpose
and my soul's destiny
and my soul's destiny
and my true self.
and my true self.
And I can allow those parts of me
And I can allow those parts of me
to call me forward,
to call me forward,
to help me embody my soul,
to help me embody my soul,
and to love and celebrate my judge
and to love and celebrate my judge
in a way that is helpful
in a way that is helpful
so that she can discern
so that she can discern
ways to help me.
ways to help me.
I recognize the fact
I recognize the fact
that I have many, many parts of me,
that I have many, many parts of me,
and the judge is an important one,
and the judge is an important one,
and I want to help her grow
and I want to help her grow
because I am the center,
because I am the center,
and I can hold the tension of the opposites
and I can hold the tension of the opposites
until the judge learns to grow and heal herself
until the judge learns to grow and heal herself
and becomes a true friend and ally
and becomes a true friend and ally
for all of us.
for all of us.
And take a breath, everyone. And again, just sitting straight and sitting still. And just first, what do you sense and what do you notice?
I feel my judge has come in front of me, and it's kind of like judge, compassion, and future self are in front of me, pulling me along,
Mm-hmm.
having more fun, kind of lightened up on the harshness of judging.
Mm-hmm. And if you tune back into your body where you were sensing the judge, what do you sense then about that part of your body?
There's still a little residual sensation in the rib, but not so much pulling backward, more like pulling forward.
Aha. Okay, great.
Instead, yeah.
So just tuning into that little bit of residual energy of the judge. Ask that part of you that judges, what's the worst thing that could happen?
I'd get hurt.
Aha. And anything you want to say more about the self being hurt?
Oh, there would be more sadness and grief and embarrassment.
Great.
in there. And it's interesting that it's right around the liver.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Right, which is the organ that holds anger, by the way. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, let's just do a little bit more tapping here. I realize my judge
I realize my judge
is working so hard to keep me safe
is working so hard to keep me safe
and to protect me.
and to protect me.
so that I don't get hurt,
so that I don't get hurt.
because I've been hurt before,
Because I've been hurt before.
a lot,
A lot.
and the judge never wants me to feel that again.
And the judge never wants me to feel that again.
Been there, done that.
Been there, done that.
Got the t-shirt,
Got the t-shirt.
and I'm selling that at a garage sale.
And I'm selling that at a garage sale.
But I honor the fact
But I honor the fact
that the judge doesn't want me to feel all that pain,
that the judge doesn't want me to feel all that pain.
or God forbid,
Or God forbid,
somebody laugh at me.
somebody laugh at me.
That's the worst.
That's the worst.
I recognize the fact that my judge is just trying to protect me.
I recognize the fact that my judge is just trying to protect me.
And I also accept the fact
And I also accept the fact
that there are other parts of me
that there are other parts of me
that can skillfully work with my emotions.
that can skillfully work with my emotions.
And so when I do get hurt,
And so when I do get hurt,
I can presence the pain.
I can presence the pain.
I can be with it.
I can be with it.
I can breathe with it.
I can breathe with it.
And I can let it go.
And I can let it go.
And I accept the fact
And I accept the fact
that my wise ass, badass self
that my wise ass, badass self,
sees other people laughing at me.
seeing other people laughing at me,
I can laugh with them
I can laugh with them
because I am human.
because I am human.
And we humans can be so silly,
And we humans can be so silly,
so goofy.
so goofy.
So let's just laugh.
So let's just laugh.
Laughter and joy and levity.
Laughter and joy and levity.
Well, that's the seventh sense.
Well, that's the seventh sense.
One of the most cherished psychic senses.
One of the most cherished psychic senses.
And every badass mystic
And every badass mystic
knows how to belly laugh,
knows how to belly laugh,
especially at herself.
especially at herself.
So thank you, Judge.
So thank you, Judge.
We can handle the laughter.
We can handle the laughter.
We can enjoy a good laugh.
We can enjoy a good laugh.
We can handle the pain
We can handle the pain.
because we're older now.
Because we're older now,
We're wiser now,
wiser now,
way more skillful.
way more skillful.
That's what being centered is.
That's what being centered is.
And that's what meditation does.
And that's what meditation does.
Help being centered in body,
Help being centered in body,
being centered in the heart,
being centered in the heart,
being centered in the mind,
being centered in the mind,
being centered in the soul.
being centered in the soul.
So thank you, Judge.
So thank you, Judge.
And everybody, shake that out. Just take a moment, just recentering after that tapping. Recentering side to side, front and back, up and down. And noticing what you sense.
Definitely released the tightness on that side of the body.
Mm-hmm.
Not holding on to it.
You know, tight rope. My jaw is not as tight. And my body's cooler, and my jaw is really relaxed. There's a lot more space. Yeah. So, folks watching from afar, what do you sense? What do you notice now after that last round of tapping? I notice it feels like my shoulders have sort of dropped a little bit and moved, away from my neck. Those Joan Crawford shoulder pads have dropped a little bit. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Kelly says, feeling very expansive. Wonderful. Wonderful. I feel like I'm in a meditative state. Absolutely. Someone says it feels comfortable to be with my judge now. She's sensing a softening from judging to compassion and more. Willis says more settle in my body. Yeah. Great way to move from, the judge being out of control, to it's like, okay. Someone says, oh, my judge is hugging me from the back. Wonderful.
Oh, can't hear you.
There we go. All right, great. Georgia says much softer, and my judge says she wants to help and be more discerning and suggests I can do that, but being more present and flexible than following the meaningless rules. Oh, girl, we're going to get to rigidity later in the challenge. We're going to get to the perfectionist. How many of you have a perfectionist that, Okay, great. Sarah says, I feel liberated. Jenna says, I feel more present. Kelly says, I always know I'm really relaxed when my teeth feel relaxed. Strange, but true. Girl, there's a whole product and program in that, teeth relaxation. So, okay. All right. So, everyone, let's close our time together. Thank you for our time and attention. We've been working almost an hour, so I want you to just rub those palms again, sensing the body, pressure, temperature, movement. Just bring those palms back to the hara, and just thinking in terms of so just thinking from this place of center, the normal, everyday waking self that started this call, the voice of resistance, the voice of the judge, all the different parts of you that want you to thrive and survive and heal, want you to be free. Just all inviting them all home to your center. And we're going to do a series of 6 breaths. So taking a first breath for body. Do the next breath for heart. Do a breath for mind. Do a breath for will. And take a breath for spirit. And then take a breath to integrate them all together in the center. And just now, just maybe for everyone, what are 2 words that you sense or you feel or that describes your experience right now? So if you'd enter those 2 words into the comments, that'd be great. And Jackie?
Freer and more centered.
And I feel present and I'll hyphenate these 3 words together. Ready for anything. All right. Well, I want to say a special thank you to Jackie Kane from New Hartford, Connecticut, who volunteered to be here with us today. She's, and I promise to tell you why I call her the real JFK.
That's right.
So, Maite says, open and receptive. Someone says hopeful and uplifted. Georgia says grateful and present. Willis says cocooned and loved. Kelly says focused and relaxed and so grateful. Beautiful. Okay, great. And someone says relief and stillness. Fantastic. So, okay. So, I call Jackie Kane the real JFK, the real Jackie fucking Kane. So, there you have it, because she is a mystic badass. And there might be one JFK in the world, but there's only one Jackie Kane, the real Jackie fucking Kane. So, there you go. And if you haven't figured it out by now, I like my sacred and I like my profane. Or another way to say it is I love Buddha, but I say fuck a lot. So,
We like speaking French.
Yeah. All right. Everybody, thank you so much for your time and attention. Great job today. Thank you for your presence, your comments, the cocoon and community that we created, and that will serve people that, watch this going forward. So thank you, and we'll be together tomorrow. I'm waiting for inspiration of which of the lieutenants we're going to work with, but I promise it'll be just as delicious. So bye, everybody. Thank you.